Chris here with High Seas Cruising, and welcome to today's video. Alright, we got some Carnival Cruise Line news for you today because Carnival has made a slight, and I mean a slight, protocol change for unvaccinated passengers sailing in the Caribbean. But before we get into that story, the Carnival Magic, well, she is the first cruise ship to resume sailing in New York in almost 3 years. So for those that like to sail out of New York, the Carnival Magic is now up there. She is doing sailings, 4 to 9 night sailings to Canada, Bermuda, and down into the Caribbean. All right, Carnival Cruise Lines and their protocol change. Like I said, this is a slight protocol change for unvaccinated passengers. So prior to June 15th, because this went into effect on June 15th, those unvaccinated passengers that were seeking a medical exemption in order to cruise had to have a doctor's note as part of their exemption requirement. And now, effective June 15th, for those that are sailing on Caribbean itineraries, so this is Caribbean itineraries only at this time, those unvaccinated passengers seeking a medical exemption to sail will no longer have to provide a doctor's note. You still have to go through the exemption process. You still have to apply for the exemption. And of course, the exemption is still not guaranteed. It all depends on the number of vaccinated passengers cruising on the ship, then determines the number of unvaccinated passengers that can cruise on the ship. So the exemption is not guaranteed, but it is at least one less step you have to do, one less thing you have to provide if you are sailing on a Caribbean itinerary and you are going to apply for this exemption. And so this is just a tiny little step, just a little tiny adjustment of the scale towards, less and less protocols here in the United States. And this is just an itty bitty one. I get it. I understand it. I realize that there are not a large number of unvaccinated that are necessarily applying for this medical exemption, or at least there's not a lot of medical exemption slots available on cruise ships. So this is just for a small amount of passengers, but it at least is still a tiny little step in the right direction to easing the protocols here in the United States. We've been talking about it in videos here the last couple days, where Viking has changed it where there is no pre-cruise testing for European sailings. Celebrity Cruise Line has dropped the vaccination requirement for 17 and under on European sailings. And like I said, this is a slight change, but this slight change is here in the United States this time. But again, it is only for Caribbean sailing, so no West Coast sailings, not Alaska, just down in the Caribbean. So something to keep that in mind as well. Now, if you're curious to know if this is one of your sailings, if you're trying to apply for this medical exemption and you want to know if your particular sailing is going to qualify, I recommend you reach out to Carnival Cruise Lines and verify that that's the case, before you skip a step that you may still have. All right, and that's going to be our cruise news video for today. If you enjoyed today's video, do me a favor, give it a thumbs up. If you haven't done so, do me a favor and hit that subscribe button. It is free to do so. Helps our channel grow, and of course, lets you know anytime we put out a new cruise news video. Hope everyone out there has a great day, and like always, we will see you out on the high seas.